Listen up, they call me Nawal, and I'm gonna show ya how the teachings of Islam empower women with respect, addressing intellect. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Misconceptions are awry, turn them upside down, shake up the system now. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. That's right, a message to my homegirls, don't get in the bed if it ain't true. If you want a good job in the big biz, you got to go to school, but I'm not gonna tell you what to do. It's all up to you, I just know that you're above this. You deserve to be above, make yourself a deal, find a man who's real, like the one who said, if you wanna kiss this guy, you better learn how to kneel on your knees, boy, on your knees, boy, on your knees, boy, on your knees, boy. Shake, shake it, shake it, shake it, 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 shake, shake it, shake it, shake it. Islam is a faith, a religion, just like Judaism and Christianity, Buddhism. It's more related to Judaism and Christianity. It's considered to be the third edition of all three of the religions that believe in one God, Judaism, Christianity, and then Islam. They all share the same prophets. They believe all of the people of, they're called the people of the book. They believe in Jesus. They believe in Noah. They believe in Abraham. The meaning of Islam is, I believe it's, the word Islam means total submission and devotion to God, the one who created all. That's what they believe. So it's their religion. They have some different traditions, but the core values are the same. They believe in the Ten Commandments, just like Christians and Jewish people do.
What does Islam say about marrying outside religion?
Well, generally it's encouraged for Muslims to marry other Muslims for the purpose of passing on the religion to the children, because they truly believe it's the truth. And but you know, in many situations there are mixed marriages, different interfaith marriages, and it works. Personally, my father is Muslim, my mother's Christian, which is accepted in Islam by the rules of Islam, that a Muslim man can marry a Christian woman or a Jewish woman, because in Islam they consider that Christianity and Judaism are all this part of the same religion.
What is the thing that you wear around your head?
In Arabic, this is called a hijab, which just means veil, and a lot of Muslim women who are very traditional would wear this to cover their hair.
Do you have to wear it?
No, it's actually not a requirement according to the Quran, which is the book that the Muslims believe to be the word of God revealed through the Prophet Muhammad. It never says anything about covering your hair or your head in the Quran. It actually says cover your head in the Bible. In Christianity, that's where you have the tradition of nuns wearing veils. So the tradition started earlier than Islam. The only reference to women's dress in the Quran is actually, it says draw your veils over your bosom. So it's a different part than your head. And then it says cover your charms. So that should be, you know, open to interpretation as far as what a woman considers to be her own charms and what she should cover. I would say the sexual parts are the main parts that you have to worry about covering in most cultures. Some tribal cultures can just, you know, in Africa you see people, it's normal to not even cover what here in the United States we would consider the sexual parts. But it's up to a woman. to choose what she's comfortable with. At least that's my personal.
What happens if you're gay and Muslim?
Unfortunately, just like with Christianity and other religions, the culture has some misconceptions about being gay, and I'm sure that unfortunate things probably have happened to gay people, persecution of that nature.
Do you dress like this to work?
Well, for me personally, it depends on what work you're talking about. I know that there are lots of Muslim women who do wear this attire at all times at work. I know a Muslim woman who even wears everything covered except for her eyes, and she's a lawyer in Egypt. I've seen Muslim women who perform surgery wearing this kind of thing. For me personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable, but maybe I'm just not used to it. But I feel it's, kind of impedes your mobility and your sight. I wouldn't be able to live like that personally. This outfit was a gift from my father. He bought it at the mosque that he attends. And maybe he was hoping that I was going to become more religious and that I could wear this and attend the mosque with him. But I decided this would be more appropriate as my rapper costume, because it just, when I wear it, I feel powerful, like a rapper. Come on now, ladies, let me show you how it's done. We be having fun. It's our minds, not our bodies, that define who we are. Shake it, 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 shake it. You're objectified, not idolized. Do you like how it feels? Pimps, players, got to realize her power ain't surprised. Her power is her own. She won't wait by the phone for you to toss the bone. Leave us all alone until you give respect. Learn to represent.
Hi, I'm Kaya.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
Hi, Aksa. I have a difficult question to ask. Why do people hate Muslims?
Okay, I understand that's a difficult question, and I'm completely receptive to it because I understand it. So I believe after 9/11 was when the world kind of not necessarily started hating Muslims, but fearing Muslims, because it was such an attack on the world. And I was in middle school at the time, and I remember being teased in my middle school. I was in 7th grade. I remember students telling me, "Oh, are you going to bomb us? Are you going to bring an AK-40?" And of course it hurt my feelings back then, but I realize now that everyone was scared. A big thing happened in America and people didn't understand why. And a lot of people kind of scapegoated this stereotypical Muslim to be a bad person. And not all of us are. And I think that's why it's really important to ask these type of questions.
Since you're Muslim, why don't you wear hijab?
I don't wear a hijab because I was given the option. The religion. Islam gives you the option if you want to wear a hijab or if you don't. And I think that's the misconception a lot of people have, the choice in Islam. My mom wears a hijab, and that's her own preference.
Do you guys pray every day?
I pray 5 times a day, yes. So you get up for Fajr, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha. Those are the 5 prayers, and they're at different times of the day. The first one is at 5 a.m., the last one is at 9 p.m. I pray because I am strongly motivated by my religion. I feel like a deep connection when I pray. It's kind of like mindfulness for me. But my sister does it.
Yeah. I don't pray because I'm not motivated, and I feel like it's not about laziness, it's more about how much I have faith in my religion. And my sister is a strong believer in it, and she feels like praying does good to her in her life. Whereas me, on the other hand, I don't believe that. I feel like I don't need to pray to have a good life.
And that's another kind of segue into something I want to talk about, is that Islam gives you an option. And that's, again, what people don't realize. You have the choice to pray and you have the choice not to. It's your choice.
Thank you, ladies, for doing this out here. I love that. I have a lot of questions, and I have a lot of friends who are Muslim, and they're really fascinating people. I like their devotion about Islam. I like the way they pray, and I can feel the calm when I see them that they have done all these spiritual work. My question was, can you marry outside your religion in Islam?
So you can marry outside of your religion, Islam. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is if a lot of people don't know, he is the person who everyone kind of looks up to in Islam. He was the one who was sent to give all the orders and all of that from God. He wanted people, especially Muslims, to marry outside of the religion so they could teach others about Islam and kind of bring them in. But a lot of times, unfortunately, culture get mixed in with religion. And for example, our parents are Pakistani Muslims. At the beginning, when I first dated a white guy, they totally shunned the idea. They could not accept it. It was so difficult for them. And it's difficult for a lot of Muslim parents in general to bring in someone from the outside. But they forget that it's part of Islam to bring in outsiders.
So that's more cultural
Exactly.
unfamiliarity than
Exactly.
religion unfamiliarity.
Well, if you think about it, my parents came from Pakistan. They were surrounded by nothing but Pakistanis, right? Pakistani Muslims. So when you come to America and you're surrounded by all of this diversity, it can be overwhelming and scary. You want your kids to learn what you learned, but somehow we were mixed in with a bunch of other people and we're gonna like other people, and that's what gets difficult, is sticking to your culture, sticking to your religion, or merging outside and trying something different.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
If you could change one thing about Islam, what would you change?
What I would change about Islam, again, is the fear. When I grew up in the mosque, a lot of times my mulana, which is the priest, would tell us if we don't pray 5 times a day, if we don't follow the rules accordingly, we would be punished in hell. There would be so many different punishments explained that I would be up all night fearing making a minor mistake. And that's not what Islam teaches. A lot of people don't know this, but Islam is the color of peace. It's green. It signifies light, easiness. And that's what I want people to know. I don't want them to know it as something to fear. That's what I would change.
I feel like within Islam, I would change the gender differences. I feel like in comparison to my brother, who's 5 years older than me, my parents have given him more freedom than me as a woman. Meaning he can stay out later than I can because I'm a woman, and they fear for me. And going into what she was saying about fear. So I feel like fear stems into other things such as gender differences, such as coming out about your homosexuality, coming out about a lot of other things as well.
Now you could have like 5 wives. Are you okay to be the 3rd wife?
I am not okay being the 3rd wife because I'm a selfish lover. I need to be the only one loved. A lot of people don't know this about Islam. You can have more than 1 wife, but you have to treat every wife the same. So if you buy one wife a house, you have to buy the other a house. If you show one wife attention, you have to show the other attention. So if you can handle giving each and every single wife all of the love, support, financial support, all of that good stuff, then I say it's all for you. But it's very difficult.
Have you ever felt discriminated because you're Muslim? Have you ever felt like I wish I was not Muslim at this point, or I didn't have to answer this question?
So we kind of live in this like dichotomy. We live half American and half Pakistani. So we do wear American clothes, but we also wear Pakistani clothes. I remember when we would go to the mosque, and shalwar kameez, that's what we call it, people would make fun of us. People would be like, what are you guys wearing? Because we looked like we had like these big pajamas and scarves around our necks, and it was embarrassing.
So did you think like the Americans has it ever happened to you like the Americans didn't think you're American enough and the Muslims think?
Well, when I worked at Macy's, I remember somebody came up to me and said, where did you learn such great English? And sometimes it's not even what I'm wearing, it's my face that shows that I'm different.
It's
you
your
know?
stereotype.
It's the stereotype, yeah.
Have you ever felt discriminated against because you're Muslim?
I have. I remember in school, I had so many incidents in school where I was wearing henna, and my PE teacher told me to wash that, she said, crap off your hands. And that was my culture. And now, of course, henna is stereotyped as being something cool because everyone's doing it. But there was a time when our clothes, our henna tattoos, our scars were made fun of.
Yeah.
Even my mom, when she walks into Walmart, I remember some guy telling her, "Yo lady, take that hijab off, take that crap off." And that broke my heart. That's something that she chose on her own, and it takes a lot of strength. And for someone to say, take it off, it's the most ignorant thing I can think of. And this is a country that is supposed to accept you for you and your choices. And it doesn't happen. I also think a lot of people in general fear something different, you know? And I think that's why we think of American as blonde hair, blue eyes, small nose, big lips, right? So when you see someone who's out of the ordinary, you automatically assume they're a stranger. And when you assume that someone's a stranger, that also brings a lot of fear, right? So I think that's a big idea of why people fear this connotation of a Muslim. Or that's another idea.